You just saved $3,000 on a car, and in 27 minutes, you're going to lose $5,000. The contracts with your name on them are being printed right now. You think you negotiated well. You knocked them down $3,000. Congratulations. You just lost $5,000. The handshake isn't the finish line, it's the starting gun. Dealership executives designed this system in the 1980s, a collective evolution across every franchise. They discovered something about human psychology. Once you agree on a large number, smaller numbers feel trivial. Once you finish a negotiation, you stop negotiating. Once you shake hands, you enter compliance mode. Two separate transactions disguised as one. The car sale and the finance sale. Different profit centers, different managers, different incentive structures. You're sitting in the showroom, the salesman says, "Congratulations." He walks you down a hallway. Physical reset, you're leaving negotiation space, you're entering processing space. Picture this room. No windows, one door. Desk between you and exit. Stack of contracts already printed with your name on them. You haven't agreed to anything yet. That's the assumption of your consent before you give it. The man behind the desk is called a finance manager, but that title is camouflage. He's the closer. His job is to sell you products you didn't know existed. Listen closely. The closer makes more money than the salesman. Not from financing your car, from adding products to your contract. Paint protection, gap insurance, extended warranties. The average closer sells $4,000 to $7,000 in add-ons per vehicle, 20 to 25% commission. He makes $1,000 to $1,750 every time he fills that box. The salesman made $300. The closer makes 5 times that in 15 minutes. You think the finance manager is a bureaucrat? He's the highest paid salesman in the building. Button-down shirt, sits behind a desk, speaks in monthly payments. You trust him more than the salesman because he feels institutional, all set design. But here's the catch. The closer doesn't work on car sales commissions. The salesman needs to sell you the car. The closer gets paid whether you buy the car or not, only gets paid on the add-ons. If you walk away, the salesman loses. The closer loses nothing, so his risk tolerance is higher than yours. Psychology is surgical. You spend 180 minutes fighting, you knock them down from $31,000 to $28,000, you saved $3,000, now the closer shows you a payment, $512 per month, then with add-ons, $589 per month. The difference is $77. That's the sequential contrast effect. But $77 per month for 72 months is $5,544. You just paid more in add-ons than you saved on the car price. This changes everything. The negotiation you won was the setup. Let them win in the car. Extract it on the back end. Profit margin on a new vehicle is $1,000 to $3,000. Profit margin on add-ons is 70 to 95%. The dealership makes $4,500 instead of $2,000. You got played. You trust him more than the salesman. That trust is about to cost you $5,000. The contract is sitting right in front of you. Bottom of page 4. This purchase is voluntary. You don't read it. 92% of people never read it. The compliance engineer spent years perfecting this script. Hundreds of variations tested across thousands of transactions. The word mandatory never appears in training materials. Too obvious. Instead, they use institutional framing. They make the optional feel inevitable. The authority figure sits across from you. Calm, professional. He doesn't sell, he explains. Salesmen sell, managers explain. The frame has shifted. You're no longer evaluating a purchase, you're a participant in a process. The manager says, "We include this on all our vehicles." The language suggests the decision was already made by the institution. He says, "Our dealership requires this for certification," but he didn't say you are required to purchase it. He said the dealership requires it. You fill in the blank with compliance. The compliance engineer designed that gap. The gap is where your money disappears. But this is where the language gets weaponized. Every sentence is engineered for institutional transfer. This is part of our protection program. This comes standard with our delivery process. Notice the pronoun, our, not yours. You assume if it's their process, you must participate. You don't. Different statements. The language is designed to make you think they're the same. The physical choreography reinforces the frame. The manager doesn't ask if you want gap insurance. He prints the contract. Place it in front of you. Shows you where to sign. The sequence assumes consent. You never gave consent. And here's the part that should terrify you. The contracts are pre-printed. He prints all of them for every customer. Not because every customer buys them, because printing them creates the assumption they're mandatory. You see a stack of paperwork, you assume it's all required. Most of it isn't. Listen to his voice, calm, even, Professional. That vocal tone is trained. 3-day seminar. They learn that voice because it bypasses your sales resistance. The manager explains each product quickly. 10 to 15 seconds per item. Gap insurance covers the difference. Tire and wheel covers road hazard damage. Paint protection seals the exterior. He's moving fast. By the time he's done, you've heard about 6 or 7 products. Your cognitive load is maxed. The speed is intentional. The overwhelm is the strategy. But stay with me. You say, I don't think I need the tire and wheel coverage. Then he pivots to social proof. Most of our customers end up being very happy they had it when they hit a pothole. That's $800. The coverage is only $950. $13 a month. You're not evaluating tire and wheel coverage anymore. You're evaluating whether you're smarter than most customers. He reframed the question. You didn't notice. You think you're making informed decisions. You're responding to institutionally framed compliance prompts. You have time pressure because you've been here 4 hours already. Your exhaustion is part of the design. Your desire to be done is part of the leverage. If you want the rest of this internal document, hit subscribe. I've got 15 years of finance office training materials I'm about to burn on this channel. You're about to sign your name 28 times in 12 minutes. Your hand will get tired. That's when they know they have you. The speed operator trained at a seminar, $3,000 per attendee, one objective, get signatures as fast as possible while maintaining legal compliance, not ethical compliance. This is choreographed psychology designed to prevent reading. The stack is organized in a specific sequence. First documents are loan disclosures, required by law, dense legal language. You're not going to read these, nobody does. But they're first for a reason. They establish that reading is impossible. They train you not to read. The speed operator controls the pen. You don't have a pen. He places a document, taps the signature line, hands you the pen. You sign, he takes it back. Next document. The rhythm is hypnotic. You're performing a physical task. Sign where indicated. Stop. Let me show you what just happened. You just signed 3 documents in 90 seconds. You didn't read a single word. Your eyes looked at the page. Your hand moved. Your brain was somewhere else. That's the choreography working. Listen closely. The speed operator is talking while you sign, maybe explaining the interest rate, maybe asking about insurance. He's filling the silence, preventing you from thinking. If he stops talking, you might stop signing and start reading. He's explaining document 3 while you're signing document 7. You don't notice because your hands are busy and your ears are busy and your brain is overwhelmed. The add-on contracts are in the middle of the stack, sandwiched between required documents. Federal lending disclosure, odometer statement, add-on contract 1, add-on contract 2, gap insurance, add-on contract 3. By the time you reach the add-ons, you're in automatic mode. The speed operator hasn't changed his rhythm, hasn't said this next one is optional. You can't tell which is which, so you sign all of them. This next part is why they train for 3 days. The speed operator uses page flipping as a pacing tool. He doesn't hand you complete documents. He flips to the signature page. You see page 9 of a 12-page contract. You sign page 9. You never see pages 1 through 8. If you try to flip backwards, you break the rhythm. His hand is extended with the pen. That social pressure is immense. You sign instead of read. Your hand is tired. You've signed 14 times in 8 minutes. Your signature is getting sloppy. Intentional. Once your hand is automatic, your brain stops processing. That's when they slide in the add-on contracts. Every add-on contract has a cancellation section, a refund policy section, an exclusions section when the product doesn't work, when you can't get your money back. These sections are on pages 2 through 4, never on the signature page. The signature page has the product name, the price, the signature line. That's it. The speed operator only shows you page 5. You now own a product you don't understand with limitations you didn't know existed. The stack takes 12 to 25 minutes. The speed operator is aiming for 15, fast enough that you can't process it, slow enough that you don't panic. You're signing 20 to 30 times, one signature every 30 to 45 seconds. You're processing rhythm and motion and social compliance. The stack goes into an envelope. The speed operator staples it shut, hands it to you. Congratulations, you have your keys. You have an envelope you haven't read. Most people never open it. Once it's stapled, the transaction is complete. You just financed 7 products in 90 seconds and you think you were careful? You paid $700 for paint protection. Run your hand across your hood. Feel that texture? That's what $700 of ceramic coating feels like. Exactly like the car next to it that got nothing. The ghost vendor exists in the gap between what's promised and what's provable. These companies sell products designed to be invisible. Paint protection, fabric coating, rust inhibitor. You cannot confirm they were applied. You cannot measure effectiveness. The ghost vendor built an economy around your inability to verify. The math is obscene. A bottle of paint sealant costs the dealership $42. Contains enough for 8 to 12 vehicles. Cost per application is $3.50 to $5.25. The dealership charges you $700 to $1,200. That's a profit margin of 99.5%. The invisibility creates the margin, and now I'm going to prove they didn't do it. The margin maximizer tells you the vehicle will go to the detail department. They'll apply a ceramic polymer coating. Sounds technical. The reality is simpler. A detailer puts product in a foam cannon, sprays the vehicle, rinse it off. The total time is 4 to 7 minutes. He does 8 to 12 vehicles per day. The dealership grosses $6,000 to $10,000 per day. The detailer gets paid $15 per hour. The product costs $40 per bottle and lasts 3 days. You're $700 paid for 6 minutes and $4 of chemical solution. But here's what makes this predatory. You have no recourse. The product promises protection. Against what? Environmental damage, bird droppings, tree sap. How do you prove the coating failed? You'd need an untreated control vehicle. Chemical analysis. You have none of these. So when a bird drops on your hood 3 months later, you can't prove the protection failed. You'll read the contract. It says environmental protection. It doesn't say damage prevention. Different promises. You thought they were the same. Smell that new car smell? That's aerosol spray. $4 per can. They charge you $300. You breathed in the upcharge. The margin maximizer says we apply a ceramic coating to every vehicle. Ceramic sounds expensive. Ceramic in this context is a spray polymer that bonds to clear coat for 60 to 90 days. Real ceramic coating requires paint correction. Panel by panel application. 40 to 60 hours of labor. Costs $2,000 to $5,000. It takes 3 to 5 days. Lasts 2 to 5 years. The dealership's ceramic coating is a bottle of spray solution. Lasts 3 months. Provides no measurable protection beyond wax. It costs $4. Here's the test that exposes everything. Take VIN etching. The margin maximizer sells you theft deterrent registration, $595. Your vehicle identification number will be etched into all windows. This deters thieves. The etching will be registered with a national database. Sounds comprehensive. What actually happens? A service technician takes an etching pen, $12 on Amazon. He etches the VIN into one window. It takes 90 seconds. He photographs it. He uploads the photo to a website. That's the national database. It's a spreadsheet. Law enforcement doesn't use it. Insurance companies don't recognize it. Thieves don't check windows. They strip vehicles in 48 to 72 hours. The contract says theft deterrent registration. Not prevention, not recovery, deterrent. That word is legally meaningless. So when your vehicle is taken and stripped, the ghost vendor owes you nothing. How do you prove something wasn't deterred? You can't. That's why the language is engineered that way. The dealership isn't selling protection. They're selling the belief that you're protected. They're in the confidence business. You pay $700 for confidence. They provide $4 of spray solution. Drop a comment if you've ever paid for paint protection or VIN etching. I want to know how many people this has happened to. Bottom of page 4, paragraph 9, 11 words in 8-point font. Purchase of this product is voluntary and not required. They built a 15-minute sales pitch to make you forget that sentence exists. This next sentence is worth $5,000. That sentence is in every add-on contract you signed. You never saw it. That was the design. The system architect didn't want this language. Legal departments forced it. The Federal Trade Commission forced it. The sentence is there because dealers were sued thousands of times for representing optional products as mandatory. Every add-on contract now contains some variation. The purchase is voluntary. The purchase is optional. You don't have to buy this. The exposed dealer knows the sentence is there. He sees it every day. He prints the contracts. He watches customers sign page 5 without reading page 4. He never points out the contradiction. His commission depends on your ignorance. That gap is worth $1,000 to $2,000 per transaction, multiplied by 25 vehicles per month. He makes $25,000 to $50,000 in addition to commission alone. Pointing out the voluntary disclosure would cost him half his income. Very few people read page 4 while sitting across from a manager waiting for signatures, but when you do, everything changes. The entire power structure inverts. The manager told you gap insurance is required. The contract says it's voluntary. One is false. You're holding the evidence. You now control the transaction. And here's where their system collapses. You read the voluntary disclosure clause out loud. You say, this contract states the product is voluntary. You just told me it's required. Which is accurate? The manager will pause. He'll say, well, it's required by our dealership policy. You say the contract says it's not required for purchase. He'll say we include it as part of our certification. You say I'm declining the product and would like to proceed with the vehicle purchase only. He'll say let me check with my manager. Power reversal. 10 seconds ago, he was the authority figure. Now he's asking permission. The contract gave you institutional leverage. The written disclosure overrides his verbal claims. You just weaponized his paperwork against his pitch. The manager returns with a general manager. The higher authority will try a different angle. They'll say the product is optional, but it's already been applied. You say, that's fine, I'm declining it. Remove it from the contract. They'll say it's part of a package. You say, I only want the vehicle. Remove everything else. They'll say they can't remove it. You say, then I'll purchase the vehicle somewhere else. This is the leverage point. You're willing to walk away. They need the sale. The salesman spent 3 hours with you. The manager has 40 minutes invested. They've allocated a vehicle. They've run your credit. Walking away cost them all of that, plus the vehicle sale, plus the monthly finance allocation. Your cost is time. Their cost is measurable revenue and sunk labor. Your leverage is greater. And right here is where 92% fold. Listen closely. This only works if you're actually willing to walk away. If you're bluffing, they'll call it. If you're desperate, they'll sense it. But if you're genuinely prepared to leave, they'll negotiate. The math is simple. Lose $6,000 in add-on revenue or lose $28,000 in vehicle sales plus $6,000 in add-ons. They'll take the vehicle sale every time. The contract says so. They just spent 15 minutes trying to make you forget. The walkaway threat works because dealers measure success in closed transactions. A salesman who loses the deal is measured as a failure. A finance manager who loses over add-ons is measured as a failure. The pressure to close is greater than the pressure to maximize add-ons. This is the structural weakness. The system depends on you not knowing you have power. Once you know, it collapses. The alternative script is simpler. When presented with any add-on, you say, I was offered this product and I'm declining it. I'd like to proceed with the vehicle purchase only. If they say it's required, you say the contract states it's voluntary. Please remove it. If they say it's already applied, you say I'm not paying for unauthorized services. Remove the charge. If they say they can't, you say, then I'll need to speak with the general manager because I'm not signing a contract with unauthorized charges. This language is specific. This language is firm. This makes them understand you know the system. Most customers won't do this. Most will sign. Most will pay. 92% of customers who reach the finance office complete the purchase with at least one add-on. The system architect designed around that number. They'll lose 8%. They'll collect from 92%. The math still works in their favor. But you're not a statistic. You're the person reading this right now. You're the person who now knows the voluntary disclosure clause exists. You're the person who knows the walkaway threat works. You're the person who knows the exposed dealer has more to lose. That information changes everything. You now have information the dealership didn't want you to have. That changes the power structure, but knowledge only works if it spreads. So if you want more files like this, more internal documents I'm not supposed to share, hit like. I've got a stack of industry secrets I'm burning through on this channel. Drop a comment below. Tell me which dealership tactic you've experienced. Tell me what you paid for. The data matters, the patterns matter. I'm building something with your stories. If you know someone about to buy a car, send them this right now. Before they walk into that finance office, the system depends on them not knowing. You just made sure they know. That's it. You're armed now. Use it.